back to my channel, sports fans. Okay, let's get into this one right here. Stephen A. Smith disses Greek Freak for staying in Milwaukee. That's right. Stephen A. Smith disses Greek Freak for staying in Milwaukee, saying the guy underachieved because he only has one ring. And that might be true in a sense. But the fact is, Stephen A. Smith is dissing him because he won't go to a big market, because he won't fulfill ESPN's needs of making this offseason basically a soap opera for them. So they will have work in the offseason. Instead of them promoting the NBA Finals like they are supposed to, you know what I'm saying? They want to take the easy route out. They don't want to promote, well, I won't say it, but I will say, you know, the international players have destroyed the NBA to me. That's what they have did. And it's not like international players weren't in the NBA before, but if you're going to bring in these people and say they're better than Americans, prove it. Prove it. Why doesn't anybody want to watch these international people, these international players, if they're all-time better players than Americans? It's the same thing with baseball. If they're better players than Americans, why don't nobody want to watch these international players in the MLB? Well, look, a lot of this stuff I won't get into, because a lot of people, they need to be told by people with suits and ties on TV what the reality is. But let me just say, on the surface, the reality is it's called cheap labor, okay? They can put any price they want of how much these guys supposedly make in sports leagues that are failing and dying and unwatchable. They can go ahead and tell you how much these guys are making on a failed product, and you can believe it. That's fine. It's called entertainment. But anyways, Stephen A. Smith, this is Greek Freak for not, you know, being a circus clown like LeBron James, for not doing it wrong like LeBron James, even though Giannis wouldn't actually be doing it wrong like LeBron James if he left. And let me explain. If a lot of guys left, they would not have been doing it wrong like LeBron James. LeBron James is not a hometown hero. When we talk about hometown heroes, as far as, you know, that's where you were drafted, LeBron James is not a hometown hero. Okay? He tried to be something that a lot of great players end up being. Like a Michael Jordan, like a Dirk Nowitzki, like a Patrick Ewing, Hakeem Olajuwon, right? These type of guys, Joker, Giannis, all these type of guys were hometown heroes. They won championships, and maybe some of them left after that, but they stayed at home for years and years and lost and lost and lost and brought their city. We're not talking about they were born there or nothing like that. Those expectations for LeBron James, he was supposed to do something even bigger than those guys, because I won't say he wasn't born in Cleveland, but he was born in the state of Ohio. So, you know, it was something close to his hometown. Yeah, I don't think he could be actually born in the city of Cleveland. It was too tough for him. Too tough for him in the 90s. No way. No way he would have made it. Although Akron wasn't too far off, you know. But nevertheless, LeBron James, his expectations were even higher. And they surrounded him with everything that he needed to win a championship. The problem was, he tried to go the Michael Jordan route. Almost. We won't say he went the Michael Jordan route exactly, or the Giannis route exactly, or the, you know, Joker route exactly, or the, you know, we can throw in Steph Curry in that equation. I mean, you can throw in so many guys. It's so ridiculous. You know, Jason Tatum and, you know, all these guys. You just, Larry Bird, a lot of these guys did not leave and won championships where they was drafted. The only guy you can say is LeBron James didn't do that. Coming back to Cleveland with a stacked super team, that's not the same, folks. Leaving your hometown and winning it, you know, going to Dwayne Wade to learn how to win, and You didn't even learn how to win. You never got taught. Well, let me just say this. That's not being taught how to win, building super teams. That's not the right way. Now, if he would have went about it and said, okay, Dwayne Wade, I'm coming over there with you, and we're going to be a 1-2 punch. You're still going to another man's house, but you brought another Hall of Famer in his damn prime, an Olympic winner. What? One of the best power forwards in the league at the time, if not the best. Power forward, he had to be the best. I don't know who was the best power forward better than Bosh at the time. Don't give me Kevin Garnett or nobody else. I just don't know who would be better than Chris Bosh at the time. Don't say Tim Duncan, way past his prime at the time. No. Well, you could say Tim Duncan was more fundamentally sound, I guess. Yeah, but Bosh had to be the best power forward in the league. Let me know if it's somebody else. I'm talking about as far as, I'm not talking about all time. Yes, you could put Tim Duncan in there, way over him, but that's not being taught how to win when you go with a super team. Like I said, if you would have just went with Wade and said, yeah, we're going to be this 1-2 punch, you know, and we're going to win with some role players, yes, that's being taught. And you probably could be teaching those role players. So we know what happened. He still, you know, it just seems impossible that he could come out of there 2-2 with that team. You know what I'm saying? It just seems impossible. At the worst, you would think, you know, 3-1. 3-1. 3-1. 3-1. 3-1. And if he did what he was supposed to do, it was supposed to be 4-0. 4-0. Don't give me no all-time historic San Antonio team, blah, 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 in 2014. No! They were old. They were old. You had, I want to say, I don't remember what team it was, took them to Game 7 in the Western Conference Finals. I want to say it was in 2014. I want to say it was OKC, if I'm not mistaken. I want to say it was OKC. And then the next year, coming back to Cleveland, nobody never even heard of Golden State. Golden State wasn't making no noise in 2012, 13, 14. And then all of a sudden, they just popped up on the scene and start going the hell off. Okay, so you weren't going against a juggernaut in 2015? And how the hell did you guys get hurt in the first year together? That's ridiculous. That's the craziest thing you ever heard. You got hurt the first year together. These guys were never hurt before they met LeBron James, Kevin Love, and Kyrie. So in the finals, they get hurt? Wow. That's nuts. That don't even make any sense. You got to think, how did they not have the number one spot in the playoffs overall? How did they not have home court advantage in the playoffs? All three of them together in their prime. Goodness God. I think LeBron James was like 31 or something like that. Goodness God. And they couldn't get the number one seed, at least in the East? Goodness God, this guy. So, you know, Jerry West, you know, he ends up bringing the championship, you know, to his hometown. Not his hometown, but, you know, to the Lakers. And, yeah, Wilt Chamberlain came over there, but Wilt brought a championship to where he was before he left. That just was the thing, man. That was the thing. You know, Kobe was able to do it without Shaq. And that's something Shaq was unable to do, folks. He left Orlando because he was scared. He was scared of Michael Jordan. He was scared of Michael Jordan. He knew he was always going to get eliminated by Michael Jordan. He ran from the grind. And I don't really know what he's seen over there in the West at the time. You know, I know Shaq was interested in winning championships, no doubt about it. But he had just got his butt beat in 95 by Hakeem Olajuwon in the finals. So I really don't know what he really seen over there in the West, a real tough West at that. You know, Allen Iverson stayed with the Sixers a long time before he ended up leaving. You know, a lot of guys, their championships, whether it's one championship, is more respected than LeBron's 4 championships. You know, LeBron James fans don't get it. His career is about cheating. If not cheating, because what they'll do, oh man, he fulfilled this contract. Well, let's just say cheating in a GOAT debate. But it's about doing it wrong in the GOAT debate. Hakeem Olajuwon, he could have left. after they lost to the Celtics, man, Ralph Sampson, man, his beat up knees. I'm not never going to win a championship over here with Magic over here. I'm not never going to win one. Got Bird over here because, you know, Houston went there early. I want to believe it was, what was it, 86, right? I think it was 80. If I ain't mistaken, I think they went to the championship in 86, if I ain't mistaken. It might have been before that. But he didn't leave. Nobody left. Nobody, Patrick Ewing didn't leave. Patrick Ewing didn't leave. And this butthead, this excuse maker, I don't know this guy's something Calvin. I don't know in the Odd Couple. I forget his last name, but he's the new, I guess the new Chris Broussard. Even though Chris Broussard kind of like sometimes like to be in the middle. I said sometimes in the whole thing. And Rob Parker, he would blast LeBron James, but this guy who replaced Chris Broussard is a straight up LeBron James apologist. Okay, and I think the only way they thought this was gonna work, replacing, you know, a big name like Chris Broussard, was to, you know, get a LeBron James butt sucker. He can't be on the fence. He can't be, you know, halfway fair like Chris Broussard. He has to be a 100% LeBron James butt sucker, and that's what he is. He just is a whole bunch. Basically, what he is, he's just a fast talker. That's all he is. He's one of them, you know, kind of like Nick Wright. If you talk fast enough, you know what I'm saying, you can't hear the lies. I mean, you can't, you just talk so fast, you got to catch the lies. And if you know the lies, you're just like, you know, every time the guy lies, a light comes on in the damn room. But if you don't know the lies, or you just go along with the lies, you're like, okay, this guy, because what he does and what they do is they mix truth with lies, and they tell half truths, and they know that that's basically what the world is about in general. After you live in this world about 30 years, you start to see this world is about half truths. And once you live in this world for 40 years, you start to see this world basically is a big lie anyway. History, science, health, everything. Everything is just a big lie. Religion, whatever it is, it's just a big lie. If you start with just history in general, you can pack in everything. Everything. You don't even have to single anything out. I mean, you know, all the stuff that they teach you in school, just a lie. Just a place they put you so your parents can go to work and they can get tax money out of your parents and they can indoctrinate the children and then, you know, do the same thing, you know, when you get older and you have children. That's it. That's basically what it is. You're in bondage. I mean, some slaves might live better than other slaves. Okay? Some slaves might start thinking out the box, but it don't matter. You still got the other slaves who basically are the sheepdogs, you know, that try to contain the other slaves that want to think out the box. You know, if you give the other slaves, you know, pretty much a way of having a better life than the ones that think outside the box, they're going to say, oh no, this is good. This slavery is good. This slavery is good. Look how good we live. Look, we just did it the right way. We just, you know, did everything Master said. And this slavery ain't that bad. Oh goodness. You know, and it really don't matter. You know what I'm saying? I done live poor to okay, you know, to living paycheck to paycheck, to not living paycheck to paycheck, to having nice things. And, you know, you're still in slavery. You can have all the stuff you want, but, you know, you still have to worry about your family, you know, that stresses you the hell out. It's still not good slavery. Anyways, let me, you know, that's a whole different topic. Oh, goodness. Anyways, yeah, LeBron James never did it right. And he pays butt suckers. Who would ever think that you could actually pay media members to talk for you? That's crazy. How does that make any sense? You pay off the media to basically talk on your part. I'll tell you, man, this is basically the end. You see what's going on in this world right now. Wow. Not just, you know, this right here. I'm talking about like everything that's happening in the Middle East. You know, how they're trying to, well, I think they already have, but them changing the people in this country, um, by bringing in mass amounts of other people like never before. Maybe we seen something like this, back in the day, people leaving our countries in mass numbers, maybe in the 1600s or something like that. But I don't think we've seen this like this for a long time. Nobody has a country anymore, but everybody will come over here and try to throw their country's flag in your face. Oh, look who, I'm this, I'm that. Well, what's so good about this? I mean, that, if you're over here, doesn't make any sense. What's so good about you being that if you're over here? Why aren't you fighting and dying for that? Because the people over here that fought for independence and a civil war and civil rights, they actually died to have certain rights over here. And I've heard many people tell me from another country, oh no, we're not gonna die. They got guns and all this stuff. Well, the people over here died for their freedoms. So that makes no sense to me, that you're not willing to die for your freedoms over there. That doesn't make any sense. And I'm sure, they had a point, their ancestors had a war of independence, and their ancestors had a civil war, and these type of things like that too in their countries. So their ancestors, I'm sure they died for their rights at one point. The problem is, the generation after that, they weren't willing to die. You know what I'm saying? For any more rights. The people done got soft because the United States says, well, you could just come over here and just walk over the people that was already here, foundational Americans. You work for nothing and we'll call them lazy. Okay, the problem is, how come they don't continue to work for nothing? Can't answer that, right? So you have to bring in a batch of new people who love their country so much. They're over here and they're working for nothing, and then they don't continue to do it, and then you need a new batch of those people again. Yeah, some people, may not get it. Basically what it is, it's indentured servitude. You that's all they're doing. Until you get your papers and get free and you do your bondage, you know what I'm saying? Well, after you do your time, you're free. And then they bring in some more indentured slaves that have no papers and have no, well, I was going to say something else, but I'll leave it alone. And they just keep bringing in more. This is the new game in the United States that's been going on for a long time, because these companies and corporations that lobbyist these politicians and give these politicians money while they run for their campaign, the politicians let them in because these companies, corporations paying them millions of dollars on their campaign. Don't think Trump is any different than Biden. If you think that border is shut down, you must be a damn fool. If you think he's taking all these people back, you must be a damn fool. I could tell you, there has to be tens of millions of illegal immigrants in this country. Just alone, you could say 10 million illegal immigrants or more wake up every day and work in factories, farms, construction, road work, restaurants, everything. If you took 1 million illegal immigrants out of the United States a year, you would be wasting your time, friend. You would be wasting time. That's what you would be doing, wasting time. And why is that? Because it wouldn't put a dent in nothing. What it is, these people are wasting taxpayers' money. Just like Biden, when he told Border Patrol to stand down, let all these people in for damn near 4 years. Give them cell phones, money, pay for their, apartments, whatever. They were able to work as long as they registered themselves while they came in. Check that out. How just, you can't even wrap your head around that, folks. They came in as the Border Patrol stood down. The Border Patrol, go look it up. Border Patrol, is an entity that makes billions of dollars a year on a budget. In Homeland Security, a whole different entity that makes billions of dollars a year on a budget. So basically, they was making money, not even doing nothing. Second of all, they was bringing millions of, people was walking in millions at a time in front of Border Patrol who had guns, Border Patrol clothes on, everything. And these Border Patrol was told to stand down, and some of them were like, come this way to this room, and we're gonna, I don't even know the word. We're gonna let you fill out this paperwork as asylum. As asylum. Now this paperwork will give you the time to do everything. You can work, probably can get a driver's license, can get a place to live. On top of that, we'll give you benefits. What? Folks, this is what you call literally changing the people. So now all those people are where? In your city, in your town, they haven't did nothing in this country to contribute. But they're here. And you'll say, oh man, they're going to work. They're going to get, well, if it was already sketchy about work and people didn't even have jobs, how are they here taking jobs? And all they'll do is work for nothing until they can get their papers. And then they have to move on and they have to get more of these people. You'll hear the nonsense. Oh, these people are such good workers, man. Who's going to do these jobs if they don't? That's fine. They never explained to me. They never explained to you, fine, how come you ain't paying these guys a good hourly rate? Paying them overtime, paying them insurance, paying them workman's comp, especially the illegal ones. So I'm just saying, man, a lot of stuff isn't black and white and, sexism if you just look at stuff for what it is. Because if you went into their country where their foreparents fought in all these wars, the Civil War, the American Revolution War for civil rights, what would they say if you came over there and took over that? They would say the same thing. But for some reason, you're wrong for saying that. You're wrong for saying that. So let's get back on. See, I don't take sides. I don't take Republican, Democrat side. That's for losers. Because those Democrat Republicans, they ain't for the people. They definitely ain't for foundational people. They're for the companies and corporations. And what benefits the companies and corporations? Money. And the only way they can get a lot of money is bring in slaves. That's it. They bring in slaves. All that money you're spending for Border Patrol and all those people are coming through for 4 damn years, you could have been helping those people's economy. But guess what? That doesn't benefit the companies and corporations over here. It don't benefit them. And again, if you're a fool, if you think these same people ain't still coming across that border, you got to be a fool. Trump they can say whatever they want to say. Like I said, if you took a million of these people out a year, it would be a waste of time. The only thing to do is you ain't supposed to be hiring these people if they're illegal in the first place. That will be the only way to stop them. They come over here, they don't have no job, they don't have no benefits, they don't have nothing. You can't live in a place if you're not legal. All of a sudden, illegal immigrants can live anywhere now. I remember when I was young, they were, oh man, you gotta make 3 times the rent. You gotta have a history, a rental history, all this stuff. Next thing you know, these people just come over here. They're living anywhere they want to live. They ain't making 3 times the rent. Even the ones that came over here on asylum, they're living wherever they want to live. I'm like, how's that? They're working, minimum wage jobs. How are they making 3 times the rent? They're able to get these nice cars. I mean, I grow up, we had hoopties and all kinds of stuff, struggled to even get a car. You people just come over here driving nice cars and just give them anything. So anyways, I get emotional about my country. Just because I'm black, that don't mean I don't love my country. Because I know who my people are. I did my genealogy. I know my people fought in the Civil War, the American Revolution War, all kind of different wars. And, American through and through. I don't care who's black that wants to claim Africa, wants to claim all this, all this other stuff. Go ahead. Go ahead. Africa don't claim you, and Africans don't claim you when they come over here. They don't. Because guess what? What African nation is you claiming that they don't even claim each other. You have all these African nations in Africa, right? That have their own customs, their different dialects, everything. So they don't even claim each other. That's like if you go to Europe, these people in Europe, they don't claim each other. The French, the Germans, the Italians, whatever. They might be in Europe, but they don't claim each other. Same thing with Africa. Just because you got all these countries in Africa, that don't mean they don't claim each other. They got different customs and culture, everything. So if you claiming something like that, they're gonna laugh at you. They're gonna laugh at you. You know, I claim American. I claim American, United States of America. That's what I claim. I claim this. Even though, you know, I always tell you all these people that have ancestors in Americas, they're really Americans. You know, like, you know, all the Mexicans, all the Venezuelans, all the Jamaicans, all the Haitians, all these people is Americans. People are so stupid, man. Canadians, all these people are Americans. You're a Canadian citizen, but you're American. That's why they say United States of America. These people over here are United States citizens, but they're Americans. So all these people in the Western Hemisphere who are from here have ancestors that from here in the Western Hemisphere. These are American people. So you're not trying to get to America to be an American. You're trying to get to the United States to be a United States citizen to get those type of benefits. Nevertheless, we don't went way off of, you know, well, I was about to say way off of reality, but the thing is, the NBA is off of reality. We went into reality. But the reality of it is, you know, LeBron James never did it right. It was never a hometown hero. Okay, he went back to build a super team because no great players want to play with him in Cleveland. They didn't. They didn't want to build this super team and lose with him when he was there the first time. So what he did, he got some, you know, some great players that were green and wet behind the ears to, you know, build this super team with him in Cleveland and lose with him because nobody else wanted to come there the first time and really lose with him. Nobody, you know, that was young. And all he had to do was, you know, maybe convince one guy to come over there that was a superstar. But he couldn't even do that. He couldn't do that. Why he couldn't convince Dwayne Wade to come over there the first time? He actually had to leave. I mean, think about how crazy that is. He had to leave. And not only did he leave, he taunted the league after he left and then got his ass rolled up. Game over right there. It's a wrap. You left your home, had the nerve to taunt the league after you left. You built a super team and left. And then you got your ass rolled. You didn't even get the number 1 seed in the East. It still got your ass rolled up. Still got rolled up. Golly, could it be any worse of a story? And then got rolled up at 14. Barely made it through 13. God, what a horrible story. One of the worst stories. They got rolled up in Cleveland again. Remember, Kevin Durant was wrong. Even though that wasn't a super team. In 17, it wasn't no super team. It was only 2 number 1 franchise players of another team. Curry and Durant. It's not a super team. The other guys that were drafted. It wasn't no super team. LeBron James had a super team. 3 guys from another team. 3 superstars. Yes, LeBron and Kyrie, you know, yes, they're Cleveland Cavaliers, but they were number 1 franchise players of Cleveland. And Kyrie was already there. So LeBron James never played a super team in the finals. I think we did that video already. And I don't know why nobody's saying that, but he never played a super team in the finals. All those guys were drafted. It's all a hoax. It's a hoax, folks. And a lot of people in the league won't say that. But let's just say this is why he started Unclutch Sports to pay people off. To shut up. While he destroyed the NBA, he could pay people off. How many people have actually let their nuts hang and went against this guy? As a true competitor of the NBA and talked against him. Not many. Why? Because he's probably done paid them off. Whether it's players, we already know he done paid off the media. He done made, you know, being great a loser. I mean, and doing it the wrong way, getting stomped out and having no overall game and all. It's crazy to even think about it.